Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and in today's video, sponsored by the makers of Call of Dragons, we have got to talk about the Crucible of Heroes, because this event, I didn't initially understand how it worked, and I'm enjoying it, and it kind of surprised me. This event, big picture, is available in the new season, and I would hope that it's in other seasons too. It's in the Age of Duality at the start, and I think it's so fun. I hope it goes other places if it isn't already there. And the way that this works is that you face a series of bosses and there's a DPS check. Now, you get ranked based on your performance, and also your region gets ranked based on its performance. Now, a lot of that has to do with simply how many people are in your region. More people in your region, higher your region will score. But on a personal level, I was pretty good last night. I'm down now, and the reason is that I need to go spend prestige, and we're going to talk about that. So there's a bunch of ways to increase your damage, but let me first talk about how this works and show you. So we're going to hit start here, all right? And it zooms me in, and at first I was like, where am I going? What's going on? Am I sending troops? I'm in the Dragon Zone. How did I get here? But anyways, you hit raid, and then you can select what you want to use to raid against the boss here. Now, I'm going to use this particular preset. There are things I could definitely do to enhance my damage here, but we're just going to fire this off and show you how it works, all right? So I've got my lineup here. I hit smash, and we poured in, and now you can see our damage counter is going up. The funny thing is that I don't think this is actually a pure damage counter. A piece of your score has to do with how many troops you have remaining. So healing and shielding actually are incredibly relevant, as is buffing, I believe. Now here go the artifacts, and you can see here our damage ranking is not going up very fast, considering that we just popped a boatload of artifacts and for sure like tripled or quadrupled our damage dealt per second, but the damage per second didn't go up, which is why I don't exactly understand how this works, but I think there's some blend that's very meaningful of the troops you have left in your march. Now, I'm not going to hit a PR in this particular run, a personal record, for a number of reasons. One of those reasons is that this is an event where like all buffs matter. So you want to have War Frenzy, you want to have a Mana Stone, you want to have a title from your kingdom. So for example, you know, if you want to enhance your performance, you go over here and you hit titles, and you request a title. Attack is good, defense is good, because remember, I think, we'll read it, but I think a part of your score is going to be based on how many troops you have left. So we'll talk about that in a second. So you raid this thing any number of times you want, which I really like, because I can basically hit the pinata as many times as I want and optimize this, that, or the other thing, and see if I can increase my personal score, which we will do, even though I'm not really a mage main by any stretch of the imagination. So on day one, technically this was like 2 days of duration. When a Marksman Legion launches a normal attack, it deals 20% more normal attack damage, max of 200%. So I was in the top 20 for rankings here, and that was without spending all my CP to gain prestige, for what it's worth, but you should do that if you want to rank higher. We'll talk about rank rewards in just a second, but obviously you are supposed to use all marksmen here. You're supposed to use all magic legions over here. 60% bonus to skill damage dealt, so you're trying to deal as much skill damage as possible, up to 120%. And then over here, it looks like you could use calves or infantry. Some blend probably ends up being the best, although we'll talk about that more in just a minute. All right, now, let's get a look at the official rules here. The event takes place over 6 days with 3 raid phases lasting 2 days each. Okay, we talked about that. Players will face a different boss. Okay, we talked about that. And there's a different buff. We talked about it. Level 16 to participate on your city hall. You fight as many times as you wish. They cannot launch or join rallies against them. The raid will last 60 seconds, and when the timer ends, your score will be calculated, and the battle will finish. Your raid scores are based on the total amount of damage dealt and how many units remain in the participating legions when the battle ends. Aha! So your score does take into account what you have left. I don't know exactly how important this is to your score, but I did find that with healing and shielding, I did score better. Now, healing and shielding also means you have more units, which means you do more damage, so there's also that. During a raid, all buffs and debuffs are applied to individual legions only. Now, this is interesting and confusing to me. They are not shared between players. I think this is not true, or I misunderstand. What I think is true is that you can buff your own legions. You just can't buff other players' legions. I think that's what that means. You cannot attack a boss 5 minutes before its raid phase ends. Fine, so do this before the last 5 minutes of the event. You must score a minimum amount of points to gain a place in the rankings. Then there's rewards for each phase. There's a personal score and a regional score. Regional glory rewards as well. So we need to talk about the regional glory rewards, because this is the big deal that I didn't realize going into this, okay? And this is what really got my attention peaked, is that, wait, this isn't just for you to go and get some stuff. There's a region reward here that's major. So for the first 2 days, you're fighting the Venom Lizard, the Crucible Venomous Lizard, and you get a boost to Prestige. Now, I was really confused because I thought, gosh, we got rank 6. Our region is the smallest. Are we just screwed? We get no Rising Glory buff at all? But no, this is 4+. So rank 4 and beyond. Okay, depends, I guess, on how many regions there are, but rank 4 and beyond gets this. So we got rank 6. I have this buff. I'll show you how it works. You basically get bonus prestige up to 500,000 regardless of tier, and this buff lasts for 4 days. So I can show you when I swing on over here. Look at me with my Rising Glory buff. Now, with that said, prestige for defeating Darkling patrols or destroying Darkling forts, and it shows you how much you've obtained this way. So I have 213,735. I spent a lot of my prestige after this phase landed, or I guess CP. I spent my CP after this phase landed, and that's a pretty good plan because obviously you're getting a bonus here of 15% up to the 500k, which is handy. All right, now, the other buffs are also kind of compelling, or rather, I guess I should say rewards. So the Crucible Witch Troll determines your cosmic interchange level. So we're going to get a basic interchange, which makes me sad. We're getting 300 1-minute speed ups we can exchange, 300 5s, 10s, 15s, 200 30s, 60s, and 100 of the 3 hours. Okay. What does the rank 1 get? 375. Okay, I don't feel as bad. It's definitely more, and more will be better. And us little guys matter too, but I guess not in the Cosmic Interchange. Sucks to suck. And then the Crucible Ice Lizard. What are we missing out on? Because we will for sure be missing out. I love that everybody gets the same amount of elixir. W on the devs for their choices there. Missing out on keys and a little bit of gems, I could care less. So I think that this is totally fine, and I'm actually very thankful that this reward is not more impactful. I would say the Crucible Ice Lizard is the least impactful reward. Now, on a personal note, the rewards are different. You get a G4 hero token. Okay, I mean, not a big deal. Oh, that's the regional glory reward and your personal reward. Your whole region? Wait, let's look at this. If any lord in your region hits this, you get the regional glory reward. That's cool. That is actually cool. So if someone in your region is a superhero, your whole region gets a really nice prize. That's actually nice. You know, we'll see where we end up here. I'm not optimistic it'll be too high because for me in particular in this stage, mages is not my thing. I think, one of the highest for my alliance the last go round. And for my region, but whatever. So doesn't really matter. In fact, for the record, I think that showed up in system mails. So here it's showing all of my raid damage, which we'll talk about in a minute. Let's see here. You completed 2 raids. So that's just when you complete 3 raids a day, you get stuff. Wasn't there something? Else. Your region scored this. Congratulations. 4 lords. Does each person in each rank give rewards? That's neat. Okay, anyways. So I guess we got 4 times the reward because 4 of us got in this top rank. Me, CD, and Slizzy. And does. The 4 of us got there, and I was 16th. There it is. See, I told you we could figure this out. All right, so we have all that information. In fact, we have a lot more information, and we need to talk about that information because you're going to use it to get a better score. All right, so now we've gone over the basics. Great news, you have a record of your performance. Ooh la la. Now, this is not that far back that you have a record of your performance. Looks like it's only attempts on this particular beast or only goes so far back, but you can see some details of how many units you took out and how much healing you did. And this doesn't look like a compelling march, except it shielded a lot and it also buffed a lot. Maybe you could do better, but I did better when I swapped her in, weirdly enough, the buffer. Okay. And you're like, wait, the buffer? What the heck are you talking about, bro? So a lot of people seem to do better when they put somewhere in their lineup this hero that I swear I can find. I'm hero blind. Tara. Because Tara is going to give 4 legions, keen of 15%, and damage resistance of 10%. Every 10 seconds, lasting 5 seconds. Now, it is worth mentioning that she is giving a synergy buff, so you would ideally want to pair her with someone that does skill damage. So even just looking at my lineup, there's probably a way to mix things up and improve it, which we'll go test. Okay, we'll go give that a shot real quick because the synergy boost is kind of wasted the way that I combined these heroes. So we'll mix it up. We'll give it a shot. We'll see if we can do better. If I really wanted to rank, though, I would need to have a Mana Stone. I would need to have a War Frenzy. I would need to change my city theme, all of this stuff. Now, there is one other thing that I kind of figured out. And this did surprise me a little bit when I figured this out, okay? And the thing that I figured out is that whoever is in your second preset slot seems to be whomever hits first and takes counterattack damage and takes normal damage. I guess they're not taking counterattack damage, they deal counterattack damage. You knew what I meant. So let me show you what I mean. Every time I do this, when I hit raid and I hit this, whoever's in this slot, number 2, is going to be the one taking the normal damage from the boss. You'll see this because their weight number for their damage taken will be higher. So I need to change this around potentially and put them in that position because I don't care about this march quite as much. So theoretically, I might do more damage. I actually think I got more damage the way that I have it now, funny enough. So maybe the way to do this is, let's remove her. We'll just try it like this real quick. We'll put center of the class, Tara. Make sure I have the max cap there. And it is worth mentioning that in this season, we have access to these special artifact constructions that you kind of make or whatever. I forgot exactly what they're called. But they don't do anything extra in this mode. I'll show it to you in a minute. So we're going to try out this configuration. Maybe it's better. Maybe it's worse. Am I losing anything from the pet? Let's find out. Heals the legion and a friendly nearby legion. Spirit enhances it. I don't think I got anything going on that is crazy here. Whenever you inflict a buff or a debuff. Oh, dude, this should be better. This should for sure be better. Very interesting. Let's, one thing I found, pro tip, I guess, is like, if you have multiple presets, it's really good to have the one you had and then the new one available. And then you can, you know, if you had multiple rows of multi-troop presets available to use for this, that it is very helpful. I did not do that because all my presets are for specific things, but whatever. Here we go. So you can see every single time that second slot always is in front. And you can see they're taking a bigger white number here, which represents the fact that the boss is, I think, attacking them specifically. So, you know, you either put a tankier march or something in there that's going to benefit from that. I suppose I didn't check if Thundolin already has a synergy buff, in which case my synergy buff where I put it there is kind of wasted. Well, it is what it is. And I'm not trying to high score right now anyways, because I don't have a mana stone. I need a mana stone. I need a buff. Ideally, the alliance would be buffed up, to be honest, right? You'd have something running over here. Over here. One of these guys. Storm Vanguard. 10% Legion attack, right? Like every single little place you can get these bonuses, you would want to go for them because you're competing against other people that are obviously going to push the bounds too, okay? With regard to pets that I found to be good, I think the the Sand Lizard was actually pretty legit. If you position the Sand Lizard in the middle spot, the tank spot, it was particularly effective in healing 4 troops. And let me tell you, this Stone Aura was cooking. I was healing like crazy. It's actually pretty meaningful. And then what else? Oh yeah, this is obviously a big deal, but your policies are massive. So getting your troop cap up is major. I don't know that troop countering does anything, but troop cap is just a big deal. And obviously the remaining 5% all damage would also be a very big deal. So I am going to push toward that. But, you know, people that are scoring at the very top end have all these things, or if they don't, they are low-key blundering on how they could do better. There's probably a few other things I might be missing, so shout those out. Again, mages are not my strong suit, so I don't think I'm going to score top tier because I'm missing a lot of exemplars for that, as you saw, obviously. But I just keep slamming over and over on that boss and fine tuning to see if your DPS is better. And, you know, keep in mind there's some randomness, so you got to be aware of the fact that, like, sometimes you would do better or worse, just randomly where things are going and what buffs you're getting, right? But this did flip exemplar. That is kind of handy, but obviously not the best artifact for that pairing. This needs to be exemplar. This should be some other artifact. I mean, this is not the best 5x mage combo. In fact, if you're wondering, well, what is the best combo? I got great news for you. You make your way over to the personal rankings, and you can see. How about that? So, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, top tier teams are of course using Mag's A. You can't see what pet they're using. You can't see what artifact they're using, but I'm almost certainly going to get a Mag's A going. You can see they also used the Thea plus Tara combo, and if that is in fact representing their exact order, then they had it in the second slot. Let's see if we can figure that out by looking at my own. Oh, I'm not top 50, so we can't see, but maybe we can see it over here. Yes. Yes. Yeah, the second slot is, I think, represented. It's not showing my last attempt? Question mark? Or maybe it's just surfacing my top score. Okay. Yeah. So we can even see the order in which they place them. This is the left to right exact order, I think. So, and that could be relevant. So I think if what you want to do is really kind of copy the leader here, which is not a bad plan. This looks like for our, you know, season here, this might be the best you could do. I mean, a lot of my mages, these two mages, the new ones, Gen 4s, aren't maxed yet either. So that certainly isn't helping me here. And Moo is in the mix. Moo. Anyways, we can see some amount of consistency here in what is being used. Moo is actually incredibly good in this context. And would you look at that? That is interesting. Infantry in the third slot is really unexpected. That's something I might have to mess around with. I'm really shocked. But troops remaining is a bigger factor than you would think. And I'm an infantry guy, so like, okay, I'll bite. I'll bite. Let's change a few things around. Now, ideally, you don't change like everything all at once. So I think that's kind of like a mistake to change too many things. But we could do this. We remove that. Okay, and then, I mean, I think I want Thalia in here, right? Like, I don't know who am I getting rid of? There's like too many variables. What I could do, I could just go like this for now. Okay, we'll just crank the damage like this for now. And maybe it doesn't matter what slot they're in. Maybe they do need to be in the front row. I'm not entirely sure. But what happens if I get, see, I think they used like this. They used Garwood, which I find fascinating. I mean, what if we do it like this? Hypothetically, what happens? I'm very intrigued. My infantry is taking the damage regardless of slot. And I did use my artifact. In this case, it did reposition me slightly. But I don't think that ended up mattering. If you had any sand lizards or buffing going on, the position is for sure relevant here. Am I headed toward more damage, though? I'm headed certainly to comparable damage. If I was buffed up, I think I'd PR, actually. Funny enough. Well, that's so interesting. Infantry could just be good anyways here? In a way that kind of surprised me. And then we just need to tweak some of the other stuff, and we probably could start PRing on this. That's funny. We're close. Not quite, though. I mean, okay. We try this one more time, I guess. Ugh, so much I gotta change around. This is why I was saying, like, you should for sure have your last attempt on another preset. Okay. So from here, we bring in the infantry, and weirdly, like, Garwood? Are we actually? That is what they had, right? We don't know what artifact they used. Is there something else I could be doing? I'm like, I guess I could buff. No, I mean, this is fascinating. One thing I'll show you is that I don't think this does anything. This is one of the special artifacts here. We turned it into one of the season-specific modified things. Theoretically, it's here, and the ability should get used, but it's not going to show up in the list, so... Yeah, see, normally they both show up here, and it isn't there, but whatever. Let's see if Garwood does better. Does Garwood do it better? Doesn't look like it. See what happens here. All the artifacts pop off. You'd think that with all those artifacts going, the damage ranking would just be shooting up. But on the leaderboard, or your damage rank, it isn't for some reason. It's really weird. But whatever. I think if I was buffed up, I'd be hitting PRs, and then we just keep tweaking from here. So I plan to kind of do that later today. But if you enjoyed the vid, throw a like on here, subscribe to the channel. With the remaining 10 seconds, are we gonna get... No, I don't think so. We're getting about 700 a second here. I don't think we're gonna PR. Battle over. GG. I'll mess with it later. Buffing up definitely seemed to make a difference for me. Call me crazy. But yeah, you enjoyed the vid, throw a like on here, subscribe to the channel. I like this event a lot, honestly. Like I could sit here for a while just kind of tweaking stuff and seeing what does better or worse. I mean, even now I'm kind of like, what if I run the same thing? But leave that there and use the buffer instead. And then we do the infantry thing over here. I don't think the Garwood was particularly better. I don't want to mess with too much all at once. So I think we just go with this. I should just use my preset. All right, so we run it this way. We just see what happens here. Do we hit a higher score with the buffing hero or the damage? We'll see. And if we look here, let's look for the Tara buff. It should happen. Resistance. Yeah, see, they got resistance over here. Let's look for the resistance buff again. We should see that resistance, yeah. I think it's happening. I don't think it's happening on this march down here, though. I think it's just the 2 adjacent marches, which is kind of unfortunate. So we're missing one more. Oh, no, resistance happened up here. I don't know if that's a part of Danfel's kit, though. Maybe Danfel's getting the resistance, which would honestly be better. I think Danfel got it. That's a W. Are we doing better, though? We are doing comparable for an epic. That ain't bad. But probably not PR territory. So it be what it be. It is what it is. Close. Yeah. Anyways, that's enough for one vid. You enjoyed it, throw a like and or subscribe. We got a whole bunch of stuff coming for this season, including a review of this system for the artifacts. I promised you'd show you the variants. This is more than meets the eye, which is why we'll talk about it later. All right. Until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies. Take care, everybody.